52%. That's the number of workers right now who are fighting burnout. A 9% jump since before the pandemic hit. And here's the part that makes this worse. Only 13% of employees feel comfortable talking about their mental health at work. So most of us are suffering quietly, alone. But what if I told you that you could lower your stress by 14% in just 10 days? Without expensive therapy, without pills, and without making huge changes to your life. That's exactly what the science says is possible. A study from the Stress Management Society found that just 10 days of guided meditation can reduce stress by 14% and irritability by 27%. And after 3 weeks, the stress drops even more. Now, I'm not here to tell you to just relax. That advice is useless. We both know that. What I am going to give you is a full course, a complete system based on real science. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how stress destroys your body, and more importantly, you will have step-by-step methods to fight back. And later, I'm going to reveal a simple technique that takes less than 5 minutes but can create immediate calm in your nervous system. You will want to stay for that one. So let's begin. First, you need to understand what stress actually does inside your body. Because once you see it, once you really understand it, you will never ignore stress again. When your brain thinks there's danger, like when your boss sends you an email that just says, "We need to talk," or when you check your bank account after bills come out, or when you're sitting in traffic and you're already 20 minutes late, your brain sounds an alarm. This alarm starts in a small, almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. The amygdala is the part of your brain that processes emotions like fear. It sits deep inside your brain, and it's always watching, always scanning for threats. Now here's the problem. Your amygdala cannot tell the difference between a real threat, like a lion chasing you, and a perceived threat, like that email from your boss. To your amygdala, both situations feel equally dangerous. Both make it think you're about to die. So what does it do? It hijacks your brain. Psychologist Daniel Goleman calls this an amygdala hijack. When your amygdala takes over, it actually disables the rational part of your brain. The frontal lobes, the part that helps you make calm decisions, gets shut down. This is why you might say something hurtful during an argument and immediately regret it. This is why you might freeze during a presentation, even though you practiced 100 times. This is why you might cry over something small when you're stressed about something big. Your thinking brain is offline. Your emotional brain is in control, and it gets worse. When your amygdala sounds the alarm, it activates something called the HPA axis. This is your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, and it's the system that controls your stress response. Here's how it works. Your brain releases a hormone called CRH, corticotropin-releasing hormone. This signals your pituitary gland. Your pituitary gland then releases ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone. And this tells your adrenal glands, which sit on top of your kidneys, to release cortisol. Cortisol, you've heard of this one, the stress hormone. Now, cortisol is not the enemy. Please understand this. Cortisol is essential for your survival. It gives you energy. It helps your body use glucose. It reduces inflammation in short bursts. It keeps your blood pressure stable. The problem is chronic cortisol. The problem is when this system stays activated for too long. A 2018 study showed that extreme stress can cause a 9-fold increase in cortisol, 9 times higher than your relaxed levels. And when cortisol stays high for weeks, months, even years, here's what happens to your body. Your immune system gets weak, so you catch every cold that goes around the office. High cortisol over time suppresses your immune function. Your blood pressure goes up, so your heart works harder every single beat. Your blood sugar gets unstable, which is why stressed people often crave sugar and gain weight around their belly. Your memory gets worse, because chronic stress actually damages the hippocampus, the memory center of your brain. And do you know what the most frustrating part is? The prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that helps you think clearly, plan ahead, and control your emotions, shrinks with chronic stress, while the amygdala, the fear center, actually grows. So the longer you stay stressed, the harder it becomes to manage stress. Your brain literally rewires itself to be more anxious, more reactive, more afraid. This is why you cannot just think your way out of stress. This is why willpower alone doesn't work. Your brain has physically changed. But here is the good news. Your brain can change back. The same brain plasticity that made you more stressed can make you less stressed. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. But before I give you the techniques, I need to make one thing crystal clear. Stress reduction is not one thing. It's a system. It's a combination of methods that work together. Some of them are immediate, things you can do right now to feel better. And some of them are long-term, habits that slowly rewire your brain over weeks and months. You need both. If you only use immediate techniques, you'll feel better in the moment but never fix the root cause. If you only use long-term techniques, you'll quit before you see results because life keeps punching you in the face. We need both. Quick relief and lasting change. So let me give you the complete system, step by step. Step 1, and this is the fastest way to reduce stress in your body, is controlled breathing. I know, you've heard just breathe a million times. But listen to what the science actually says. A systematic review of randomized controlled trials found that breathwork produces a significant effect on stress reduction. The meta-analysis showed that people who practiced breathing exercises had measurably lower stress than control groups. Not just I feel better, but scientifically proven lower stress. Here's why breathing works so well. When you breathe slowly and deeply, especially when you extend your exhale, you activate your parasympathetic nervous system. This is your rest and digest system. It's the opposite of fight or flight. Deep breathing stimulates something called the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve runs from your brain down through your chest and into your abdomen. When you stimulate it, your heart rate slows down, your blood pressure drops, and your body releases neurotransmitters like serotonin that make you feel calm. And the best part? A study found that even a single session of diaphragmatic breathing can lower your cortisol levels. So when you're sitting at your desk and your chest feels tight, when you're lying in bed and your mind won't stop racing, when you're about to walk into a difficult meeting, you can actually change your body's chemistry in minutes. Here's the technique I want you to use. It's called 4-7-8 breathing. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 7 seconds. Breathe out through your mouth for 8 seconds. The extended exhale is the key. Research shows that prolonged exhalation is what activates the parasympathetic response. But here's what most people get wrong. They try this once during a panic attack and expect miracles. The research shows that effective breathing practices require multiple sessions and long-term practice. You need to practice when you're not stressed, so it becomes automatic when you are stressed. Think of it like learning to swim. You don't learn to swim when you're drowning, you learn in calm water first. So practice this every day, morning and night, just 2 minutes each time. And after a few weeks, you'll be able to activate calm instantly. Now, breathing is your emergency tool. It's what you use when stress hits fast. But for lasting change, you need something more. Which brings me to step 2, movement. Exercise is one of the most powerful stress reducers we have. A systematic review and meta-analysis found that physical activity significantly lowers cortisol levels. The effect size was statistically significant, which means this isn't just placebo. Exercise actually changes your stress hormones. But here's what most people don't realize. Exercise itself causes a stress response. When you work out, your cortisol spikes. This sounds bad, but it's actually good. Research shows that the cortisol released during vigorous exercise actually suppresses your cortisol response to psychological stress later. So when you exercise in the morning and then your boss yells at you in the afternoon, Your body produces less cortisol than it would have if you hadn't exercised. Your body learns to handle stress better because you practiced handling stress through movement. One study found that people who engaged in vigorous exercise had lower total cortisol levels and faster recovery to baseline after a psychological stressor. So, when your partner criticizes you, when your child throws a tantrum, when your computer crashes and you lose your work, your body stays calmer because you already spent some of that stress response at the gym. Now, what kind of exercise is best? Research suggests that moderate intensity exercise lasting 30 to 60 minutes produces significant cortisol reduction. That's walking at a brisk pace, swimming, cycling, dancing, anything that gets your heart rate up but doesn't leave you gasping for air. Be careful with very high-intensity exercise if you're already chronically stressed. HIIT and long-duration intense cardio can spike cortisol too high. If you're burned out, start gentle. Walking is enough. Yoga is enough. Scientists at the University of California found that just 10 minutes of light exercise can improve mood and cognitive function. So if you're thinking, I don't have time to exercise, you're wrong. You have 10 minutes. You can walk around the block. You can do jumping jacks in your living room. You can dance to one song while you make breakfast. 10 minutes. That's all it takes to start. And speaking of starting, the third step in your stress reduction system is, well, actually, I'm going to save that for just a moment. Because what I'm about to share next is so powerful, so underrated, that I need to set it up properly. This next technique can lower your cortisol by over 20%, and almost nobody talks about it. Stay with me. But first, let me ask you something. How did you sleep last night? I ask because sleep and stress have a vicious relationship. Studies show that even partial sleep deprivation increases cortisol levels by 37 to 45%. One bad night of sleep, and your stress hormones are nearly 50% higher the next evening. And when you're stressed, you can't sleep well. And when you don't sleep well, you're more stressed. It's a cycle that feeds itself. The perturbation of sleep homeostasis is accompanied by increased HPA axis activity. Your body literally cannot calm down when it's sleep-deprived. So here you are, stressed because you're not sleeping, and not sleeping because you're stressed. But breathing and exercise both help with sleep. Research shows that physical activity improves sleep quality, and breathing exercises before bed help you fall asleep faster. When you lie in bed with your mind racing, thinking about tomorrow's meeting, thinking about that thing you said 5 years ago that still makes you cringe, do your 4-7-8 breathing. The extended exhale tells your body it's safe to rest. Make your bedroom cool. Make it dark. Put your phone in another room. These aren't nice to have. They're essential for breaking the stress-sleep cycle. Now, I promised you something powerful, something that lowers cortisol by over 20%. Step 3, gratitude. I know, gratitude sounds soft. It sounds like something you'd see on a motivational poster with a sunset, but the science is undeniable. Research shows that people who practice gratitude have 23% lower cortisol levels. 23%! A study on gratitude and appreciation found that participants showed a reduction in cortisol, better cardiac functioning, and more resilience to emotional setbacks. And here's what's happening in your brain. Gratitude activates the medial prefrontal cortex. Remember, this is the part that controls decision-making and emotional regulation. It's the part that stress damages. At the same time, gratitude decreases activity in the amygdala. It calms down the fear center. So gratitude strengthens the part of your brain that helps you stay calm, while weakening the part that makes you anxious. When you practice gratitude, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, the neurotransmitters that make you feel good. It also releases oxytocin, the love hormone that helps you feel connected to others. So how do you actually practice gratitude? Research shows that spending just 15 minutes writing in a gratitude journal 3 times per week produces substantial improvements in mental well-being. Here's what I want you to do. Every morning, or every night if morning doesn't work, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big things. My coffee was good. My dog was happy to see me. I finished that project. The key is to feel the gratitude. Don't just write words. Actually feel thankful as you write. One study found that mental health improvements become noticeable about 4 weeks after starting gratitude practice, and bigger positive changes appear at the 12-week mark. So if you try this for 3 days and quit because, quote-unquote, it doesn't work, you're giving up too early. Give it a month. Just a month. All right, we've covered breathing, we've covered movement, we've covered gratitude. These 3 alone will make a massive difference in your stress levels. But there's one more technique I have to share with you. And honestly, this one surprised me the most when I looked at the research. Step 4, nature. Simply being in nature, especially in forests, creates profound changes in your stress hormones. A systematic review and meta-analysis found that forest bathing significantly lowers cortisol levels. The cortisol levels were significantly lower in people who spent time in forests compared to urban environments, both before and after the intervention. This practice is called Shinrin-yoku in Japan, which translates to forest bathing, and it's been studied extensively. Research shows that forest bathing reduces stress hormones like urinary adrenaline, noradrenaline, and salivary cortisol. It also reduces blood pressure and heart rate. And here's something wild. Studies suggest that even 15 minutes in a natural environment can have short-term benefits for mental health. Just 15 minutes! Research from the Association of Nature and Forest Therapy shows that sitting or walking in the forest for 10 to 30 minutes per day can reduce stress hormone levels, heart rate, blood pressure, and sympathetic nervous system activity. So why does nature work so well? Scientists think part of it is the air itself. Forests release compounds called phytoncides, essentially wood essential oils. Inhaling these monoterpenes has been shown to reduce blood pressure and cortisol levels and boost the immune system. And part of it is simply the absence of urban stressors. No traffic noise, no notifications, no crowds. Your nervous system finally gets a break. Now, I know not everyone has access to a forest, but here's the good news. Any green space helps. A park, a garden, even houseplants in your home. The more nature you can bring into your life, the better. Go for a walk in the park during your lunch break. Eat breakfast on your balcony if you have trees nearby. Take phone calls outside. Drive to a nature trail on weekends. One study from the Frontiers in Psychology found that cortisol levels dropped from 5.2 micrograms per deciliter to 2.77 micrograms per deciliter after forest exposure. That's nearly half. So let's recap what we have so far. Breathing, your emergency tool for immediate calm. Movement, your daily practice that trains your body to handle stress better. Gratitude, your mental rewiring system that strengthens your prefrontal cortex and quiets your amygdala. And nature, your nervous system reset button. These 4 practices alone will transform your relationship with stress. But I'm not done yet, because there are a few more techniques that the research supports, and I want to give you the complete picture. Step 5, and this one is crucial, is sleep optimization. I touched on this earlier, but I need to go deeper, because sleep deprivation and stress have a bi-directional relationship. They feed each other. They make each other worse. Here's what happens when you don't sleep enough. One study found that just 1 night of total sleep deprivation significantly increased cortisol levels compared to baseline. Your stress hormones were measurably higher the next day. And it's not just total sleep deprivation. Even partial sleep loss, getting 4 hours instead of 8, raises cortisol levels the following evening by 37 to 45%. So you have a stressful day at work. You can't fall asleep because your mind is racing. You finally pass out at 2 a.m., your alarm goes off at 6 a.m., and now your cortisol is almost 50% higher than normal. And then you wonder why you snap at your partner over something small. You wonder why you cry in the car on the way home. You wonder why everything feels impossible. It's not weakness, it's biology. Your brain is swimming in stress hormones and it cannot function properly. So here's what you need to do. First, protect your sleep like your life depends on it. Because honestly, it does. Set a consistent bedtime, not around 11, but 11 p.m. sharp. Your body has a circadian rhythm, and it needs consistency. Going to bed at different times every night confuses your internal clock. Create a wind-down routine. 30 minutes before bed, no screens. No work emails, no stressful conversations. Do your 4-7-8 breathing. Read a physical book. Take a warm shower. Make your bedroom a sleep sanctuary. Cool temperature, around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Complete darkness. Blackout curtains if needed. no phone in the room, or at least face down with notifications off. Research shows that the meta-analysis on physical activity demonstrated that exercise improves sleep quality. So your morning walk or afternoon workout isn't just reducing stress directly, it's also helping you sleep better at night, which further reduces stress. Everything is connected. Your breathing calms you down so you can sleep. Your sleep lowers cortisol. Your lower cortisol makes exercise feel easier. Your exercise improves your sleep further. Your better sleep makes gratitude practice more effective because your prefrontal cortex is online. It's an upward spiral instead of a downward one. Now, step 6. And this one might seem obvious, but most people neglect it. Social connection. When we're stressed, we isolate. We cancel plans. We say, "I'm fine," when we're not. We scroll through social media instead of calling a friend. But humans are social creatures. We evolved in tribes. Our nervous systems are literally designed to be regulated by other people. Have you ever noticed how a hug from someone you love can instantly make you feel better? How talking to a close friend can make a problem seem smaller? How laughing with others makes stress melt away? That's not just in your head, it's neurobiology. When you connect with others, your body releases oxytocin. Oxytocin counteracts cortisol. It makes you feel safe. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system. A study found that unhealthy relationships and social isolation are associated with chronic stress activation. The opposite is also true. Healthy relationships buffer you against stress. When you have people who support you, people you can be honest with, people who make you laugh, your body literally produces less stress hormones in difficult situations. So here's what I want you to do. Schedule connection like you schedule meetings. Put "call mom" in your calendar. Put "dinner with friend" as a non-negotiable appointment. Don't let stress convince you to cancel. Be honest about how you're doing. When someone asks, "How are you?" don't automatically say, "Fine." If you're struggling, say so. Vulnerability creates deeper connection, and deeper connection creates better stress buffering. Prioritize in-person interaction when possible. Video calls are good. Phone calls are good. But research suggests that face-to-face connection has the strongest effect on our nervous systems. Something about physical presence, shared space, eye contact, touch, regulates us in ways technology cannot replicate. All right, we're almost at the end of the system, but there's one more technique I need to share. And honestly, this might be the most important one for long-term change. Step 7. Mindfulness meditation. Now, I know meditation has become trendy. I know it can feel like another thing on your to-do list. I know you might have tried it and felt like you were doing it wrong. But please listen to what the research actually shows. A comprehensive systematic review found that mindfulness-based stress reduction, called MBSR, significantly reduces perceived stress by up to 33% and mental health issues by up to 40%. 33% reduction in stress. Some studies have even reported a 50% reduction in symptoms of depression and anxiety. A 10-minute mindfulness meditation session can effectively reduce stress and anxiety through relaxation, calmness, and improved emotional regulation. 10 minutes! So what's actually happening when you meditate? Remember earlier when I told you that chronic stress shrinks the prefrontal cortex and enlarges the amygdala? Well, meditation does the opposite. A large brain scan study from 2018 found that long-term meditators had reduced amygdala activation when shown images designed to invoke negative feelings. Their fear centers were less reactive. And here's what's even more remarkable. After just 8 weeks of meditation training, the brains of new meditators showed increased connectivity between the amygdala and the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that supports self-regulation. So meditation literally rewires the connection between your emotional brain and your rational brain. This means that after consistent practice, when a stressor hits, your prefrontal cortex can more effectively calm down your amygdala. You don't get hijacked as easily. You stay in control. Research on the sustained impact of MBSR found that benefits continue for at least 3 years after completing the program. This isn't a temporary fix. This is lasting change. Now, how do you actually start meditating if you've never done it? Keep it simple. Sit somewhere comfortable, close your eyes, focus on your breath. When your mind wanders, and it will wander, gently bring your attention back to your breath. That's it. That's the whole practice. You're not trying to clear your mind. You're not trying to achieve some special state. You're just practicing returning your attention to the present moment. Every time your mind wanders and you notice it, that's not failure. That's success. That moment of noticing is the exercise. It's like doing a bicep curl for your prefrontal cortex. Start with just 5 minutes. Do it every day, same time, same place. Research suggests that even short daily sessions can help, and the consistency matters more than the duration. After a week, increase to 7 minutes, then 10. Build slowly. A study on diaphragmatic breathing and mindfulness found that 20 sessions significantly decreased negative affect and lowered cortisol levels. So, in about a month of daily practice, you'll start to feel genuinely different. Not just calmer in the meditation, but calmer throughout your entire day. All right, let me pull this all together for you. You now have a complete system for reducing stress. Not one technique, not a quick fix. A system. Breathing. Your instant calm button. Use 4-7-8 breathing. 4 seconds in, 7 seconds hold, 8 seconds out. Practice twice daily when you're calm. Deploy when stress hits. Movement. Your stress inoculation. 30 minutes of moderate exercise most days. Walking counts, dancing counts. 10 minutes is better than nothing. Gratitude. Your brain rewiring tool. Write 3 things you're grateful for daily. Feel the gratitude. Don't just list it. Give it 4 weeks minimum. Nature. Your nervous system reset. Get outside. Forests are ideal. Parks work too. Even 15 minutes helps. Sleep. Your foundation. Consistent bedtime. Wind-down routine. Cool, dark, phone-free bedroom. Social connection. Your stress buffer. Schedule it. Be honest. Prioritize in person when possible. Meditation. Your long-term rewiring. 5 to 10 minutes daily. Focus on breath. Notice when mind wanders. Return gently. Now, here's what I need you to understand. You do not have to do all of this perfectly. You do not have to start everything at once. If you try to overhaul your entire life tomorrow, you'll burn out, you'll quit, and you'll feel worse than before because now you have failure added to your stress. Instead, pick one thing. If you're not exercising at all, start there. Just 10 minutes of walking. If you're already active but sleeping terribly, focus on sleep hygiene. If everything feels overwhelming, just do the breathing. 3 times a day for 1 week. Research shows that small, consistent changes create lasting habits. The Stress Management Society's entire campaign is built around the idea of little by little, small, everyday actions that compound over time. A study on gratitude found that 15 minutes daily, 5 days a week, creates lasting positive changes. That's barely over an hour a week total. Anyone can find that time. Let me tell you something important. Stress is not a character flaw. Stress is not weakness. Stress is your body trying to protect you. It just doesn't know when to stop. For millions of years, our ancestors faced threats that required immediate physical action. A predator appears. Run. A rival threatens you. Fight. The stress response saved their lives. But now, the threats are different. They're emails from angry clients. They're bills that keep piling up. They're arguments that replay in your mind at 3 a.m. They're traffic jams and deadlines and social media comparisons. Your body responds the same way. Cortisol floods your system. Adrenaline courses through your veins. Your heart races, your muscles tense, but there's nothing to run from, nothing to fight. So the stress just sits there, building, accumulating, damaging you from the inside. But now you understand what's happening. Now you have tools to intervene.
When you feel your chest tighten before a difficult conversation, you can breathe. 4, 7, 8. When you feel the weight of the world on your shoulders after a hard week, you can walk in nature, even 15 minutes. When you feel disconnected and alone, you can reach out. Call someone who cares about you. When you feel your mind spiraling at night, you can practice gratitude. What went right today? When you feel like you're losing yourself to constant anxiety, you can meditate. 5 minutes. Just you and your breath. Chronic stress is associated with cardiovascular disease, cancer, diabetes, HIV progression, and mental health disorders. The research is clear. Unmanaged stress will shorten your life and reduce its quality. But
Behavioral stress reduction programs have been shown to potentially enhance medical therapies and even reverse disease progression. A comprehensive review of over 200 studies found that these programs can improve both psychological and physiological outcomes. This isn't woo-woo wellness. This is medicine. This is taking control of your biology. This is deciding that you deserve to feel better. I want you to imagine something. Imagine waking up in the morning and actually feeling rested, not dreading the day, not immediately checking your phone for emergencies. Imagine sitting in traffic and feeling fine, not enraged, not anxious, just present. Imagine having a difficult conversation and staying calm, responding thoughtfully instead of reacting explosively. Imagine lying down at night and actually falling asleep, mind quiet, body relaxed. This is possible. Not because I say so, but because the science says so. Thousands of research studies, millions of participants, decades of evidence. You can feel better. You can manage stress. You can reclaim your life. But you have to start. So here's what I want you to do right now. Before you click away, before you forget everything I just told you, pick one technique from this video. If you want instant relief, commit to 4-7-8 breathing 3 times daily for 1 week. If you want long-term change, commit to 5 minutes of meditation every morning for 1 month. If you want to feel better fast, go for a 10-minute walk today, right after this video ends. Just one thing. That's all I'm asking. Because here's the truth. You could watch 100 videos about stress, read 50 books, know every technique, but if you don't do something, you'll stay exactly where you are. And you don't want to stay where you are. That's why you clicked on this video. That's why you watched this far. Something in you knows that things can be different. Something in you is ready for change. So honor that part of yourself. Start today. Start small. Start imperfectly. A study found that even one-time interventions can reduce stress and emotional disorders. So even if you only do this once, it helps. And once you feel that relief, you'll want to do it again. 52% of workers are burned out, but that doesn't have to include you. Stress hormones can spike 9 times higher than normal, but now you know how to bring them down. Your brain can literally shrink from chronic stress, but now you know how to rebuild it. You are not helpless against stress. You are not destined to feel this way forever. You have tools now. You have knowledge now. You have a system now. Use it, because you deserve to feel calm. You deserve to feel present. You deserve to feel alive. Not just surviving, but actually living. Thank you for watching this entire course. I mean that. Most people click away after a few minutes, but you stayed. You invested in yourself. Now, go. Take that walk. Do that breathing. Write that gratitude list. Your calmer, healthier, happier life is waiting for you, and it starts right now.